Israel has returned the bodies of 30 Palestinians to Gaza today as part of an exchange agreed in the ceasefire deal with Hamas. Meanwhile, the two sides continue to trade blame over truce violations as tensions rise over the return of the bodies of Israeli hostages. Tom Perry is part of the CBC News team on the ground in the region. He joins us now from Cairo with the latest. So, Tom, let's begin with the fragile ceasefire. Both Israel and Hamas accuse one another of breaches. What more can you tell us?
Well, the ceasefire is holding, so that's the good news, but there is significant tension between Israel and Hamas, most of it focused on Hamas's failure to return all 28 bodies of Israeli hostages, dead Israeli hostages, who were held in Gaza. Now, Hamas says it's returned 9 so far. It says that in the devastation of Gaza, it's hard to track down bodies. It says it needs help with specialized equipment to try to track them down. But we heard from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today saying he's determined to bring all the hostages home, all the deceased hostages home. And we've heard from Israel saying that Hamas is not living up to its commitment under the ceasefire agreement to send home all the hostages. Now, on the other side, despite the ceasefire, Israel has opened fire and killed some Palestinians. It says that these were people who were approaching the military's positions, that they were told to move back, that they did not, and they opened fire. The military hasn't provided a lot of proof about this. Hamas says that's a violation of the ceasefire agreement. So each side is really trading blame on these issues. But as I say, the ceasefire so far is holding. But yeah, I think it is fair to say that it does appear fragile, but again, holding together for now.
And there are growing calls for Israel to allow more aid into Gaza. What are you hearing about that?
That's right. Now, aid is getting into Gaza. There are two transition points, or I guess gates, moving from Israel into Gaza where aid has been getting through. So we have been seeing aid trucks getting into Gaza, aid deliveries being made. The big issue right now is the Rafah crossing. That's between here in Egypt and Gaza. It remains closed. It's under Israeli and Egyptian control. It remains closed. Israel has said it's going to open the Rafah crossing for individuals to move across. Rafah is a major transit point for Palestinians who need medical care to get out of Gaza, to get into Egypt, to get that care. There are thousands of Palestinians who need medical attention. Israel says it will open the crossing for individuals to go across, but not for humanitarian aid. This is seen in part as retaliation for Hamas's refusal or so far failure to release those deceased Israeli hostages. But we have heard from aid groups saying, look, we've got to open up all the crossings into Gaza to make sure that that aid is just flooded in there so that the Palestinian people get what they need. We spoke to the regional director for the World Food Program here in Cairo. Here's what he had to say about that.
We're all advocating for opening the crossings, facilitating our access inside Gaza, making sure there is law and order so people can actually also move freely inside the Gaza Strip and be able to reach the distribution points and make sure that they're able to feel safe while moving around.
So that was a representative of the World Food Program. We've seen the UN's real humanitarian chief who was at Rafah today saying that we've got to open up all the crossings. I was just speaking to a representative of Save the Children who's working inside Rafah right now. Her message was basically the same, saying we've got to get all those crossings open, that some aid is getting in, that there's reason for cautious optimism, but it would be better if all the crossings could be opened up so that aid could get in and the Palestinian people could get the assistance that they so desperately need.
Thank you. That is the CBC's Tom Perry live in Cairo.